Here is John 11 verses 11 to 15, from the New International Version. 11 After he had said this, he went on to tell them, "Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I am going there to wake him up." 12 His disciples replied, "Lord, if he sleeps, he will get better." 13 Jesus had been speaking of his death, but his disciples thought he meant natural sleep. 14 So then he told them plainly, "Lazarus is dead." 15 And for your sake I am glad I was not there, so that you may believe. But let us go to him. Expounding on John 11 verses 11 to 15. This passage is a part of the account where Jesus raises Lazarus from the dead, a significant miracle that showcases his power over life and death. Let's break it down. Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I am going there to wake him up. Jesus often used the metaphor of sleep when referring to death. In this context, he meant that Lazarus had died, but he used the term asleep to illustrate that death isn't final for those who believe in him. Lord, if he sleeps, he will get better. The disciples misunderstood Jesus. They took his words literally, thinking Lazarus was merely sleeping and would naturally wake up after resting. Jesus had been speaking of his death, but his disciples thought he meant natural sleep. This verse clarifies the confusion. The disciples were not grasping the full picture. Their understanding was limited, as is often the case with us when confronted with spiritual truths. Lazarus is dead, and for your sake I am glad I was not there, so that you may believe. But let us go to him. Jesus clarifies the situation and reveals a deeper purpose. His delay in visiting Lazarus and the subsequent miracle would serve to strengthen the faith of his disciples and others who witnessed or heard of the event. By saying he was glad he wasn't there, he meant that had he been there, Lazarus might not have died, and the miraculous demonstration of his power and the strengthening of their faith would not have taken place. In this passage, we see the divine foresight and purpose of Jesus, emphasizing the importance of belief. Jesus often performed miracles not just out of compassion but also to reveal his identity as the Son of God and to bolster the faith of those around him. The raising of Lazarus is among the most dramatic of these signs.